Hey, and we're live from a room next to my bathroom in my basement. This is My Worst Holiday, a podcast about your worst wedding, funeral, bachelor party, bachelorette party, or whatever's funny after the fact. We want to hear it. And today we have a very special guest, Miss Jo Lauderdale. Jo, baby, say hello.
Hi, everybody. It's good to be here. All this energy. It's great.
It's good to have you on. It's good to have you on. Tell us everything. Tell us everything about you, Jo. What? Everything about you.
I just turned 41 in July. Planted a church in 2017 in Versailles, Kentucky, Living Grace Church. We're obviously still going strong. COVID hit us a little rough, but we're bouncing back. I've been married to my husband for 23 of the 25 years that we've been together. We have a 19-year-old son and a 16-year-old son. We have a 120-pound American bully and then just like a 45-pound mutt. She's smarter than he is, better than he is in every way. I dedicate. I'm also on our local fair board. I pray over our fiscal court meetings, over our city council meetings. Just kind of get involved anywhere and everywhere I can in the community. I think small towns are great for that. I think it's good for relationship building. I think it's good to know who your neighbors are. My next door neighbor and I graduated high school together.
There you go. Well, that's
we're
all
small
right.
and we know each other. And so, it genuinely matters to us what happens to the neighbor because we know each other. We grew up together. My oldest son DMs a Dungeons and Dragons game here at our house every other Saturday, and my niece comes over and we help raise her, and she's 21. And then one of their other friends, who is now my son by choice, he comes over and he's 19. So I have a house full of young kids for about 6 hours eating everything I have in stock every other Saturday. But I absolutely love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. I love that they like coming home to mom on the weekend. There's nothing better once they're of an age where I'm the last person they want to be seen with. But I absolutely love knowing that every other weekend I'm going to have them all right here under my thumb where I can check on them and where I can talk about, their latest love interests and scold them on their latest love interests.
How old's your boy? How old is he?
I have two boys. One's 19, one's 16. And then the one we kind of took in is 19 as well.
Nice.
Yeah,
my daughter's 16 and all her friends come over here. So that's like, I like the whole, we know where they are thing.
Yes.
Yes. Well, now that they're turned 16 and 17, they're taking off and going places. And I'm like, yeah.
And that's a whole new world.
Yeah, it is. Well, my daughter doesn't start driving until March. So I've got that. So I'm like I'm in the passenger side with her going,
My 16-year-old goes for his permit test. My 16-year-old does his permit test on the 10th of October. So I'm in that boat with him. My oldest doesn't drive. He went and got his permit, but it got revoked because of a medical issue. He's in the process of trying to get it back now, so I haven't had to do it yet till the 16-year-old got ready. And so we're taking him out to the county fairgrounds and making him practice out there before he gets on real roads.
Right.
I'm like, you can't hurt nothing out here. You hit the bleachers, they're metal. You hit a trash can, it's metal. You run off into the grass, it's a big field full of cow and horse. I mean, you're fine. Just whatever you want to do out here. You can't hurt nothing.
Right.
Yeah, so it's good for that. It's a whole new world.
I used to play Dungeons and Dragons all the time as a kid, man.
Really?
Oh God, yeah. Oh, I loved it. I just loved it.
I didn't play. I was raised in the satanic panic of it all. That was of the devil because I was raised in church since I was younger. And so when my boys first brought it home about 5 or 6 years ago now, they brought it home and I was like, absolutely not. That's of the devil. I won't have that in my house.
It's not. It's not.
Because it was just when I was a kid, it was satanic panic, and we were just white in the house.
It's like watching Lord of the Rings.
Yes, I'm freaking out. My husband's like, let's just hear them out. And so there's a group on YouTube, Critical Role, who plays, and they're just voice actors who enjoy playing. They're adults and have a good time. And my son was watching them, and he was like, just watch an episode that they stream of one of their live games, and then if you say we can't do it, we won't do it. So I watched one of their episodes and I was absolutely hooked. I'm a complete supporter of Critical Role. We've bought merch from Critical Role. We play here at our house. I love buying the dice. I mean, I was like, there's nothing about this that's bad. I have no idea what the problem was in the 90s.
It's just people stirring the pot. It's just stirring shit. That's all it is. Like what about J.R.R. Tolkien was satanic?
Yeah.
Stop. The whole
And,
thing, like,
we
it's
also
like
had a
C.S.
time
Lewis.
where,
It's like Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe. Like, it's just all that kind of thing.
yeah, it's
You
just
can't get
basically
more
the same
Christian than
thing.
C.S. Lewis, you know?
Yeah, we went to a church a while back, and
Hey, Brett.
they weren't allowed to watch Smurfs because Gargamel did like etchings on the ground, like a pentagram.
Oh,
And
God.
because of that, it was the whole thing. I was like, y'all are getting crazy. It's a cartoon with little blue people.
Oh.
2-year-old is learning, satanic rituals from Gargamel on the Smurf.
Yeah. The evil Gargamel.
Yeah.
He's a Smurf. So,
Yeah. So I've learned a valuable lesson in look into everything. Don't buy into the hype. Look into it.
so everybody, we have Joe Lauderdale on. She's a preacher down in Kentucky. Tori says hi, and she understood it wasn't that bad. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. Dustin Sakirka, my buddy, Brett Allen, he's got a podcast. He's watching. John Silvas, and we got a lot of people. We got a few people watching. So, hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching.
We're talking about the evils of Dungeons and Dragons. So.
Absolutely.
No, we're all fine. So
yeah.
You can roll a 20-sided dice and still be good with the Lord.
Yes.
There you go. So
yes.
Just saying. So it's so how long have you been preaching? How long have you been giving the word?
I started in ministry in general as like early teen years. I was on praise and worship, and I did that for a while. And then I did ladies group, and I did youth minister, and I did janitor, I did men's leader, I did women's leader, I did mission services. I mean, you named it, I did every office there is in the church. And then in about 2015, I think, I answered the call to be a pastor, and I went with another couple, and we planted a church then. And then just crap happened. And in 2017, my husband and I struck out on our own and planted a church in 2017. So I'm senior pastor just for the last 5.5 years or so.
All right. Having fun? Got a pretty good congregation?
Not yet. We're in a little building in downtown for sales. And before COVID, we were looking at talking to our landlord about knocking out walls to make room in the sanctuary for everybody. Because he's great, and we already did knock out walls and do demo work. He came in and helped do it. He's a fantastic guy. And so we were thinking about doing that, and then COVID hit. Yeah. And since COVID, we haven't quite bounced back to the numbers we were at before. We haven't quite pulled everybody back in yet. So I'm hoping eventually they'll come back, but we'll see.
There you go.
Them or more, I don't know.
Yeah, slow climb.
Yeah, but I've talked to other ministers in our area, and they've got the same problem, that they're, the bigger congregations are saying, we're still not where we were pre-COVID. So
right.
And I think a lot of it's because we all stream online now, and so
that's what we did here. That's what my wife did. She we got the Acts Church in the area is the name of ours, but my wife would just stream it on Sundays.
Yeah. Or anytime, like if you make plans on Sunday, you can still watch the Sunday sermon, Tuesday afternoon if you want to.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think that hurt a little bit too. I mean, I'm not going to not do it because I think it's great for the people like shut-ins and the people who can't get out as well. So I definitely want that to still be available. But I can see how it kind of hurts a little bit, Yeah.
Introverts,
We just get out of it. What are you gonna do?
What can you do? I just need to come out of my shell. That's all I need to do.
You know what? I would rather preach to a crowd of 5,000 than talk to 2 people. Hands down, I'll take the crowd any day of the week.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's
like, you put me in a room with 2 people, and I'm so nervous.
So, how about that weather, right?
Yeah. I start just grasping at straws for categories. Yeah.
Done any fishing lately? I can't do this.
Usually if I know it's going to be a tiny group of people, I make my husband go because he's a huge extrovert. He can talk to anybody and people love him. And so I make him go, and I just sit there and let him talk, and it looks like we're talking.
Yeah, there you go. Just
put him out in front.
All right, so Joe, hit us with a story. What do you got, baby?
Okay, well, my wedding, of course, was 100 years ago, but from start to finish was just a disaster, start to finish. We had all these big plans. And if you're from the South, weddings are a big deal. Weddings are
Wherever you are, weddings are a big deal.
Yeah, but in the South, there's decorum and manners you got to follow, right? There's things that are gaudy and there are things that are common. And if you've got cousins and they're girls, they have to be in the wedding. It don't matter if you like them or not. That's how it's done.
See, my mom had to come to mine.
So there's rules here. So we got engaged and then spent a year planning the wedding, and everything's going smoothly. I think we've got this licked. It's great. Day of the wedding, our ring bearer was my younger cousin. He was maybe 4 or 5 at the time. He puts on his tux and there's a hole in the knee. And we're like, it's not a big deal, because when he's standing straight, the crease kind of hides it there. So I was like, when he sits down, when we go to do pictures, if he just drops his hand over it, it's not a big hole. We'll be fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Right.
So we're like, great. So then I'm in the bridal suite and the downstairs of the church, and my bridesmaids are arriving. And when I had 6 bridesmaids, and I found 6 dresses, only 6 dresses that I wanted that were the right color. So I bought all 6 for the bridesmaids. And my sister was married to a man whose mother was a seamstress. And she was like, I'll do all the alterations for the wedding. I'll take care of all of that, because my gown needed altered. I used to be an itty bitty thing.
Very
and so I said, all right, here's your gowns. Gave them their gowns 6 months in advance. Here's your gowns. Here's Bev's number. If you need it altered, see her. She can let it out. She can pull it in, whatever you need. So they're showing up and they're looking cute in their dresses. And then I have a bridesmaid show up. She didn't try her dress on until that day. And it didn't fit.
Oh, right.
So I'm like, that's great. That's great. We have a bridesmaid going down the aisle in a dress that won't even
happened to my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law was getting married. And my wife is like, she's like taking something off of her bra to like clip.
Yes. I'm like, how are we going to make this work?
Yeah.
So my mom took both sides of the zipper and folded it under and in, so that the back of her dress, instead of doing this, did like a square.
Yeah.
But you couldn't tell it wasn't zipped because the zipper was hidden. She also, the week before, got a giant tattoo in the middle of her back that was still not quite great looking. Right. And now it's exposed because there's no V. It's a wide open square.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? It's fine. Everything's fine. My dad had a lot of mental issues. He was bipolar before anybody knew what it was. He was manic depressive. He was alcoholic. They thought it was because he was trying to self-medicate. He was a good old boy, so we weren't going to talk about his feelings.
Never mind.
We didn't do any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So he was on medication, and he was on like a dozen different medications, and we had to give so many in the morning and so many in the evening, and he got sober, and he was great, and we loved it. But every so often we would have to readmit him to what we call Charter Ridge here. It's like a mental health hospital.
Right.
And what they would do is, because he would develop a tolerance to some of the drugs, so we would have to figure out new dosages. So they would put him inpatient, they would take him off everything, and then they would spend 2-3 days setting it up and fixing it for him, and then he'd be out and we're good to go. So he happens to have a mental break the week of the wedding. It's not like his baby girl's not getting married and leaving.
Of course he does. Of course he does.
Exactly. So then
just be cool.
And we check in on Friday because the wedding was Saturday. So we check in Friday morning at Charter, and because we're expecting to pick him up Friday, and they're like, "Oh, he's not ready." I'm like, "What do you mean he's not ready?" She was like, he's probably not gonna be ready for release till Monday. I was like, no, I'm getting married Saturday.
Right.
He has to be ready.
Right.
And so we leave the hospital not knowing if we're going to get him Saturday or not, or if he's going to have to stay. So his older brother lived in Florida.
Still up in the air. Not sure what we're going to do.
I don't know. His older brother lived in Florida, so we called Uncle Junior and we were like, if he's not out, can you give me away? And he's like, yeah, no biggie. We're on our way up there anyway. Fine. Okay, everything's fine. We've taken care of that. Everything's fine. And so
it's fine. Everything's fine. My wife actually has that. She has it in Gaelic written on her arm. It's fine.
It is. I've got a coffee cup that just says
she has that tattooed on her arm.
So we go to rehearsal, and we have 2 songs that are going to be sung by special people. And the first song was supposed to be sung as I joined Nathan at the altar. The next one's a little later in the ceremony.
All right.
And we rehearsed it. Everybody went over it. All the people doing the music went over it. We had a list. We had it written down. Everything's perfect for rehearsal. We run through it 3 or 4 times. Record time. Everybody knows what they're supposed to do. It's great. The day of the wedding starts, and my husband locked his keys in the car. So I called my other cousin, who has a Jimmy kit that can break into cars. Don't ask me why he can do that.
I'm not going to ask why your cousin has a Jimmy kit.
I'm from Kentucky. Somebody in the family knows how to break into a car.
I'm just saying I'm not asking the question.
So we call him. We're like, hey, he locked his keys in the car. Can you come down to the church? So he runs down and he lets my husband into, gets him into the car. And I'm going, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. So we get ready to start the wedding. My dad shows up. They did let him out. He's a little bit quiet, but he's steady. He knows where he is. He knows who I am. You know, he's not out of his mind. He's just a little subdued. I'm thinking maybe they gave him a little to push him through.
He's still just kind of looking around.
Yeah. And the church we were in, you started downstairs, and then there were 2 stairways that went around up to the sanctuary, and you went through the sanctuary doors. So we get to the bottom of those stairs, and he looks at me and goes,
lithium, he should be all right.
Yeah, right? So he looks at me and he goes, do you want to leave? The front door's right there. We don't have to go up there. And I was like, no, Daddy, we're getting married.
I'm doing this. We made plans.
So we're down there, and I'm trying to convince my dad, we're getting married. Go up the stairs. I'm doing this kind of thing. And while we're talking,
the church, here's the steeple. Open the door.
That's what we're doing.
Exactly. You see all the people there, Pop?
Exactly. Do all for this.
Yeah.
And so while we're standing down there doing that, I hear the song come on. The special song is going. They're singing, and the bride's not even in the room. I'm like, what is wrong with you? How can you sing? But the bride's not even there yet.
It's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. It's all fine.
They're just going to have the wedding without me. They don't need me.
Don't mind me. I'm just the bride.
So I'm like, all right. So Dad and I go ahead and go in. We do the wedding march. We get down to Nathan, and the wedding starts. And I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. Nathan looks nice. His groomsmen's looking nice. You can't really tell the ring bearer. My other bridesmaid, I'm not even looking at her back, so I don't even care anymore. We got a unity candle made in Midway, and it was huge, and it was handmade, and they took the wax and they made these beautiful hearts out of it, and they hollowed out the center and put in a vial, and you put oil in that, and when you light the oil, that's what lights, not the candle. So you can relight it every single year of your marriage. It lasts forever.
All right.
Like, this is beautiful. We paid a bunch of money for it. This is great. That was our unity candle. It comes time to light the unity candle. Nathan and I walk up to light the unity candle. There's no oil. Nobody put oil in it. So it was light. There's nothing to light. So we're staying there, and Nathan's like, what are we going to do? And I was like, we're going to pretend we think it lit, and we're going to walk back to the minister. And what else are we going to do at this point? So we pretend we think it lit. We know good and well it didn't. And we walk back to the minister. Just hoping maybe people think they can't see it good enough, or we don't know. We're just, that's all we can do at this point.
They're all out there. Is that lit? I don't.
Yeah, I was like, we'll just pretend we thought it was. If somebody says something, we thought it was. That's all.
Shut up, it's lit. Like, just.
There's plenty of times you light a candle and you think it's lit and it's not. So I was like, we're just gonna play that game. We're just gonna pretend we thought and it didn't catch. You know.
Exactly. Moving on.
So go up to the minister. Ceremony goes on. We do the I do's. We walk down the aisle. We head down the aisle, and as we get to the bottom of the stairs, we went to a different location for the reception. So the wedding party stays behind so we can do pictures, because you're not supposed to see the bride before the wedding. So I didn't have any pictures with my groom prior to the wedding. That has to happen after, because he can't see me first. They do that now. They do pictures days ahead of the wedding now.
Oh, yeah.
Then,
absolutely.
You know, you don't do that in the South. Yeah. That's not okay. So we did that. We stay after. We do all of our pictures. We hide the holes, and we hide the dresses, and we strategically place people places.
Right.
And we go to the reception, and the reception is supposed to be alcohol free. And at the reception, we were going to take pictures with grandparents. Well, my grandparents were mad at my brother at the time, and so they wouldn't take any pictures with me. I have no pictures with my grandparents for my wedding.
Oh, God.
But my husband's grandparents were there taking pictures, and when they realized my grandparents weren't, they thought they weren't supposed to. So we had to spend time convincing them to take pictures of their grandson.
Wait, because your grandparents were mad at your brother, so they wouldn't take pictures with you?
Yes. My extended family's complicated.
I dare you to make less sense.
I know. So I was like, whatever, it's fine. It's not like we're super
we're mad at your brother.
I know. And he wasn't even at the wedding. All right, he went to the
reception. Out. I'm fine. Like,
yeah, he didn't even go to the reception. He went to the wedding, but he wasn't at the reception. So whatever, it's fine. We're at the reception. We're doing what we're doing. My Aunt Carlotta made all of the food. I'm from a big family. My grandfather was one of 17. So there's a gajillion. I'm related to everybody here.
Heavens.
That's why my husband had to be from Owensboro, because everybody here I'm related to. So I had to play
You said it was your grandpa that had seven?
My Paul was one of 17.
Okay.
And then my dad was one of 7.
17. Well, back in the days, they had a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Usually they got to keep about half of them. You know, like
they lost a lot of the boys to the war.
Where'd the rest of them go? Cholera, you know, like that,
yeah.
you know. So
and then, they lost a lot of the boys to the war, but the girls went on and were fruitful and multiplied.
Mm-hmm. God bless them.
Yeah, small families were not the thing. So, so my Aunt Carlotta was my dad's older sister, and like I said, when Nathan and I got married and I would cook, he thought we were having company because I didn't know how to cook for less than 10 people. Because I mean, there's always
I like to cook. I don't know how to cook for that many people.
I am the same age as 7 of my cousins. Yeah. All the same age, born in the same year. So on that side of the family. So anytime
on that side of the family.
Yes. I got a few more on the other side that are the same age too. But the biggest ones are on that side. So we were never alone. We were always just lumped together because our family had to do stuff and who babysat and all that kind of stuff. So we got married, and it took me a long time to figure out how to cook for 2 people. I mean, you didn't cook for less than 10. You just didn't.
Yeah.
So it came in handy when I had 2 teenage sons.
You had out 2 patties, you know, and then.
Yeah, I'd make meatloafs in these big
hamburger helper. Just one. You know,
yeah, exactly.
A pound of 80-20 ground beef. Yeah, let's yes.
Right, yeah. I can figure that out for the life of me. It's paid off well now because, like I said, teenage boys, they eat what a crowd of 10 can eat. So, you know, I'm right back up to cooking for 10 again.
I could back in the day. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's talking the table. I'm still
constant. Yeah. My husband eats a lot too.
And I weighed like 75 pounds. I was a small guy, and I would I
don't know where they put it. It never stops. If they're awake, they're eating.
It's the beast with 7 stomachs. Yeah,
I know. I'm like, and they're skinny as a rail. They ain't got an ounce to them. So
have them take up smoking for about 8 years and then quit. That'll change it.
You know what? That happened to my daddy too. He smoked, and whenever he would try to quit, he would just crave sweets. And so, yeah.
If it was helium and not fat, I definitely would have floated away. Like,
yeah. When I gained weight, I told people that
trying to keep me from going. You know,
when I gained weight, I told people that hot things expand. So I'm not fat. I'm just hot.
Just hot.
Just hot.
Mm-hmm.
So my Aunt Carlotta cooked the food for the reception for everybody because we're used to cooking.
It's not a good idea to exchange cigarettes for gummy bears.
Yeah.
No. Not a good idea.
Yeah, because you can put a lot of those away before realizing it.
They're delicious.
Yeah, they sneak up on you.
And not only was I fat, but I also developed type 2 diabetes. Here's to the gummy worms.
Yeah, you'll pay the price for it. Yeah, exactly. They're not going to leave you unscathed.
They're the devil. They're the
devil. Absolutely. Yes, they are.
I can play D&D and not get fat. The gummy bears.
They say Pringles you can't eat, or Lay's you can't eat just one. No, it's gummy bears you can't eat just one.
Oh, no.
You can't put those things down.
They're delicious. Yeah.
So we go to the reception. My Aunt Carlotta cooks for everybody. It's good home cooking, whatever. My husband and I leave to go to this bed and breakfast in Wilmore. My husband's a vet, so there was a military chaplain that ran a bed and breakfast, so that's where we went. And that night he starts not feeling so hot. And I'm like,
your husband?
well, this is our honeymoon night. There's things supposed to be happening.
Right. Your husband?
And he's like, not tonight. And so I spent the very first night of our honeymoon.
I was going to say, not tonight, honey. It's our wedding night.
I mean, he looked green. And so I spent the first night of our honeymoon, he was upstairs in bed, and I spent it between this old military chaplain, his wife, with cookies she baked in milk. That was my honeymoon night after we got married. So the next, I go upstairs. He's falling asleep. He seems all right. I go to sleep. I wake up in the morning, early hours in the morning, and I feel horrible. And he wakes me up. He's, tossing his cookies. He's not holding anything down.
Really?
And I'm like, what is wrong with us? And I'm sick as a dog. I can't take 3 steps that I'm not throwing up. And so we call my mom, and and Nathan's like, I'm taking her to the ER. We're going to come back to Woodford County. I'm taking her to the ER. She can't take 2 steps that she's not puking. I was sick last night. I'm still throwing up. Something's wrong. We're going to go to the hospital.
Right.
And mom's like, well, okay. My dad and my brother decided to go back with my uncle to Florida after the wedding. And my brother left his dog with my mom, and it had puppies. overnight
What?
while we were sick. So she's got brand new puppies at the house. And no dad, no brother, no owner, just her and a bunch of puppies. And so she's like, okay, well, come back here once they release you, and let me know how you guys are doing.
Right.
We go to the ER, they give you that shot in the butt to kind of get everything calmed down. They give him a shot. We go to my mom. She has had phone calls from 36 people that came to the wedding.
They're all sick.
Losing their voice, tossing, sick as a dog.
All right, who left the potato salad out?
That's what they start saying.
Out the damn like, potato salad. That's what I want to know.
Was like, it's food poisoning, and they wanted us to pay the medical bills.
Oh God, no!
And we were, and my Uncle I was like, it was not food poisoning. I know how to cook, and it was not the food. He's like, absolutely not.
We'll just leave this big salad out in the sun for a couple hours.
We fell asleep, and Nathan and I lost 3 days of our lives. We have no memory after getting to my mom's house till 2 days later.
Really?
Waking up at my mom's house. We never even left the house. And then when we woke up, we found out he had a relative that lived in New York that flew in for the wedding. And that relative found out that everybody was sick and told us the week before it had ripped through his house in New York, and it was some kind of rotavirus. So he brought it.
Oh,
he had only been healthy one day. He stopped puking on Friday and flew in Saturday morning.
Oh.
I'm like, yeah, it wasn't food poisoning. It was your stinking family that brought in all the
contagion. Yeah, exactly.
And it spread because I was like, it can't be food poisoning because there were people who were getting sick.
I'm going to blame him for our wedding night, pal. I'm blaming him for our wedding night.
Absolutely. And there were people that were getting sick that came to the wedding, but they didn't go to the reception. So I was like, it can't be food poisoning because they didn't eat. They weren't there. You know, I was like, they weren't even there. It's not food poisoning.
Food poisoning is not communicable.
Oh, yeah. I was like, there's no way that's what it was. There's a virus. Everybody settles down.
I understand that. You know?
Exactly. We're like, it's a virus. Everybody settles down. Nathan and I start our new life. No honeymoon. Because by then we got to get back to work. We got to get back to life. We got to get back to whatever. Yeah. Our Unity candle, we are in November. We celebrate 23 years married. It has never been lit.
There you go. Never been lit.
Never been lit.
I don't
even know where it is anymore.
Yeah, that little light of yours.
Nope.
Nope.
I was like, I don't reckon we needed a Unity candle.
Wow.
My brother's wedding was beautiful. My sister's wedding, absolutely gorgeous. Neither one of them are still married to the people they married the first time.
See, there,
so I'm like, you know what? I might have had a disaster of a wedding, but the marriage has done okay.
Yeah, my wife just August 21st for 19 years.
Yeah, and you think, how am I that old?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought there. I'm like, how am I that old?
Put up with me. This is me most of the time. Really. I mean, this is the guy she lives with.
Yeah, and she chooses you again every single day.
Yeah, exactly.
I look at my husband and I'm like, he looks at me and he says, it's cheaper to keep her whenever I get on his nerves.
It's cheaper.
And then I'm like, and when he gets on my nerves, since I don't bring in an income, obviously, because we just founded the church and there's not an income to have. I remind him often when he makes me angry, you're worth more to me dead. I mean, if I get life insurance, I'm way better off than I am right now.
These are facts.
So when he gets mad, it's cheaper to keep her. And then I'm like, you're worth more to me dead. So
these are facts. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, my wife, she's as funny as I am. So she's awesome.
Yeah. We're good at inappropriate humor. Mental illness, like I said, with my dad was a big thing. It's a big thing in my family, still is. And we do it with laughter. We don't really ruminate on it. I walked through a room and I had indigestion and I was like, oh goodness, I have indigestion. I'm sorry, y'all, I've got indigestion. And my younger son was like, and I have crippling depression.
Yeah. Nice.
And we all laugh about it. And then some people get offended.
My buddy Dustin, who's been watching, he's probably the darkest humored person I've ever. I lost both my parents this last year. And
sorry.
It was Christmas or Thanksgiving it was Easter. I think it was Easter. He's over at his house. He goes, "See, Mark, this is my dad. He's still alive."
Isn't that awful? But you know what? We're the same way. My the boy that we took in, his mama passed when he was in like middle school, so that's why it just became my kid. You know, if you don't have your mama, I got you.
Right.
And he said we were doing something and I had scolded him about something. And one of the boys said, he's not going to want you for a mom. And he pops off with, well, she's already doing better than my mom is.
There you go.
The humor here is the same one, exact same way. And then we catch a little flack because we do it in public, not thinking. And people are like, you're making fun of mental health. And I'm like, no, that's how we cope.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not making fun of people with anxiety. We legit have diagnoses in our meds. We have it. We're not making fun of it. We're dealing with it.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm making fun of me? I can't make fun of me now? I'm pretty sure I can make fun of me.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't sit well so often, that kind of humor with mental health, but it's how we deal with it.
Bring it
how we do it.
How we deal with stuff. That's all there is to it. Yeah. So we was talking about weddings. I was at my brother's wedding, and his nephew, Bradley, and Bradley was like 4. He's just this little kid. And my brother's mother-in-law, to-be mother-in-law, she's telling Bradley, you walk down the aisle with the pillow, and and give it to this guy or whatever. And my nephew's looking at her like this. And I go, he's not getting it right now. He's thinking fire trucks.
Yeah, he's somewhere else.
And then she looks at me like I'm an idiot. And then she looks back at Bradley and goes, take it down the aisle.
Yelling's going to do it better.
On the pillow. I'm like, he's not deaf. He's 4.
Yeah, you're going to have to show him. You're going to have to walk with him.
Just shake your head. Oh, God.
Yeah, anytime you tell somebody that you don't understand or someone doesn't understand, their immediate response is to yell. I'm like, I don't know how that helps with comprehension.
Believe me, I'm a fan of saying things louder. I am. But like not to a 4-year-old.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Bradley. I'm like, oh, what are you doing, lady? He's not dumb. He's 4.
Oh, bless him.
He's thinking puppy right now. He's not really thinking.
Yeah, he's thinking puppy, and now he's going, why is she yelling at me?
I cannot believe that he's not up on his wedding etiquette at this point. I just can't.
Right. He's had plenty of time.
Exactly. Like, bless his heart. The poor kid's just, what? Oh, well.
Love it.
Mm-hmm. So what's the next plans for what's the big well, let's just do this. Mosaic TV, everybody.
Yeah, shout out to Mosaic.
Mosaic TV. We're gonna do the plug in the middle and again at the end because I'm gonna have to talk about yourself at the end again. And so if you have a Roku and if you have an Amazon Fire Stick or an Amazon TV, you can tune in and see her Sunday sermon.
Yep.
And you can see My Worst Holiday. You stream them whenever you want. So if you want the good word, stream it.
You can also get it on Android devices. So if you have like tablets or cell phones, you can get it there too.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Not on Apple, but you can on Android.
Didn't know that. All right. So back to you, Joe. So after everything got all settled down and everything, was we able to like actually just like call the guy and blame him? Like, this is you, dude, like that? Or
no, everything just died down.
We want him to pay the medical bills at this point.
We just let it go. Everybody
put it on you. So
everybody had insurance, and there was obviously not everybody's paying out of pocket or anything, and it was just, I think everybody got past all the hype and the craziness of it all and was like, you know what, it is what it is. Back then, it wasn't so bad, co-pays and stuff. Nowadays it might have been a big deal, but back then, not so bad.
Yeah, it's awful now. So Tori Johnson said she loves chocolate-covered gummy bears. All right.
Oh, I haven't had those.
They're called Muddy Bears. My wife loves them too. We found them at a little candy shop that's up in Morris. It's very cool. And oh God, I got a terrible story. Just a terrible story.
About chocolate covered gummy bears?
No. We was in the same town. They was having this artesian fair with like people doing things in the town square. Like girls were doing like the dance teams.
Yeah.
And everything else. Like I'll get to it in a second. But she also said, "This is why Joe's my people." She was laughing. So. Got a bunch of people watching. Everybody, we're talking to Joe Lauderdale. She is a preacher from the Grace, say it again. Living Grace Church down in Kentucky. She can be found on Mosaic TV. So anyway, my wife and I, this is bad. This is so bad. We felt very bad. Do you remember Mad TV?
Yeah.
Okay, there was a bit called Lower Expectations. Lowered expectations.
Yeah.
Okay, so this gives a stance for the joke. Not that it's any better. Not that it's any better. Trust me. So all the girls in the dance team and stuff, they get done dancing and they start setting up these drums. This drum line, you know, and my wife and I, we go hit the shops and we go get her Muddy Bears, and they had all kinds of neat candies and stuff. Like it's a very cool place, and they had uh, like uh, like flavored mealy worms, you know, and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
barbecue mealy worms,
Like
and
the
stuff
bugs
like
and
that,
stuff. Yeah.
insects and stuff like that you can try. And so anyway, so they're still setting up the drums, and then we're getting closer, and there's like all the drums are surrounding like one guy that's in front of him, and he's going boom, 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 and then everybody's like boom, 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 and then my wife and I, we get in the line, you know, it's like, and they're like do 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 do, and they're like do 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 do, you know, and they're all dressed really nice and everything, and like bump 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 bump, and they're like bump 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 bump, and I'm like, God, they're warming up, you know, like what's going on?
Yeah.
And I look down at the end, I'm like, that guy looks kind of goofy, and I hope he's not going with that girl over there because lowered expectations, you know, and like we stand there for a minute and they're like, boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, this is the worst drum line I've ever seen in my life. They were all special needs.
Oh, no. Oh, wow. Yeah. And you had just a delightful time tracking at them.
My wife finally gets, because my wife worked with special needs people for years and loved it. And she's like, oh no.
She figured it out before you?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh no. Like, oh no.
I just started looking around. I don't know where that guy is that was carrying on like that, but
where's that? And we can say it. Where's that asshole that was here talking about the drum line? That's what.
Exactly. I pushed that off as soon as possible. My youngest, when we housebroke him,
we felt so like after it, like it hit us, like, oh no, like.
Yeah, and when stuff like that happens in public, you got to find somebody to blame and a way to distance yourself, right? A way to look innocent. When we housebroke my youngest, and I say housebroke.
That's what we did. We laughed. That's what we did.
Yes. We housebroke my youngest, and I say housebroke because he would not go in the potty in the bathroom. He went outside. I don't know why. He was just obsessed with peeing on trees. So whatever, go outside and pee on a tree. As long as you're not peeing in your pants, I don't care. Pee wherever you want. Again, I'm from Kentucky.
What's the being a boy if you can't do that? That's all I'm saying.
Exactly. So we housebroke him, and my husband was playing church league softball, and he's out on the baseball diamond, and he's playing. I have the kids. I'm in the stands. I'm talking with some of the ladies, and I hear somebody from the other team go, "Oh my God, that kid's got his pants down." And I spin around, and it's none other than mine peeing on a tree in the middle of the ballpark, right? I immediately went, I think that's that guy's kid, the one that's out there playing. That's one of his kids. I didn't even claim him. I was like, it's that guy out there playing on second base. That's his kid. His kid.
That's hilarious. We was at the St. Louis Zoo.
Yeah.
And a mom had turned her back for a second, and the little boy just whipped it out and started.
Yeah,
going.
they do.
Yeah, and he was like 2, you know.
Yeah, they're 2 years old. They ain't shy at all.
Like that. Just goes right over.
Yeah, they go. Like, they don't care.
You're all right, buddy. Keep going. You're okay.
You know, I ain't gonna get mad at him. I don't care.
Hey, better than peeing his pants. That's all I'm
saying.
Like,
you don't want to see him pee his pants, do you? Then just let him know where he's got to go.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a mess when he was little. An absolute mess. He would go, my niece would come over, and her and my older son would take him outside to play with them in the backyard when they were little, in the elementary school, and she would come in, and because she's 6 years older than he is, and she would come inside and she'd be like, Aunt Joe, we need toilet paper. And I'm like, why are you taking toilet paper outside? Well, because Ben's pooping on a tree. Well, get toilet paper then. I mean, he wouldn't even have to pee. If he had to use the bathroom, he was going to go outside and find a tree. That's what he's going to do.
Wrong being feral.
That is not how I housebroke him, but that's what it took. So
that's what
I was like, you know what? We're not in diapers anymore. We're not in pull-ups. He doesn't have mistakes at night. So if he pees on a tree here and there, I don't really care.
And you know, you do that in the park now, and they kick you out. Like, I can't do that at all. Like, they're like, sir, you're going to have to leave. And I'm
There's
like,
a tiny window when it's okay
for guys to do that. I thought this was America. You know, like that. And
Only if you're a little boy. If you're not cute, absolutely not.
Yeah, apparently there's a cutoff line. You
Yes,
know,
yeah, it's an unwritten rule. Yeah.
Exposure, they said. I don't know.
Yep, exactly.
I'm just being one with nature. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah, this is how nature intended it.
Back. That's all right. I'm doing.
Yeah. How we decide what's okay.
They didn't have to hit me with a club. I would have left.
Run you out. Yeah.
The special needs thing, that happened. The other thing didn't. It's like, I'm so mortified. Absolutely mortified.
Yeah, that's the worst. Because, like, I don't know, but for me in a small town, when you make a public mistake like that, you're going to see those people again.
Well, the fun thing
they're going to be around.
We were in a town about 40 miles away. So
there's some saving grace there.
It's all good. Yeah, nobody's going to go, that's the guy.
Exactly. That's my
fear. Like,
that's my fear. I'm like, I'm going to do something stupid. And
kids were trying their best, and this guy, like,
it'll follow you forever.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Especially as long as you continue to share it yourself.
Funny's funny. Funny's funny.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned I was absolutely mortified when I figured it out.
Yeah.
I'm not like soulless or
anything. But we've all done it. Yeah. We've all done it. I did my sister, we got a flat tire.
I wasn't doing that, but
no, I'm guilty of the same thing because we got a flat tire one time and my husband went to get the spare out of the car and it was flat. So and it was late at night. We'd been out looking for something. And so I called my sister and we were out of town and I'm like, can you come get us and then help us get a tire so that we can get the car? Absolutely. So she and her husband come get us, fix it up. We get it fixed. We get the tire on it. We're all good to go. So on Facebook, I just hit Google search and I was just like, superhero big sis. That's my keywords that I used because I wanted some kind of meme to just say she came to the rescue, right?
Right.
So the very first one that popped up, I don't pay close attention. It's a woman wearing a cape. Arms are up, she's wearing a cape. I'm like, good enough. It's just an image. I take it and I caption it, big sis to the rescue. And then people start slamming me, like coming after me. And I was like, what is going on? And I look, the superhero in the image was mentally handicapped. I don't know if she had Downs. But I didn't, I was in a rush and I didn't pay attention. And I was like, no, I'm not making fun of
No, I know. No, I didn't mean to.
I think it's really tacky that you call your sister a retard because that's not fair. We don't even use that word nowadays. And I'm just like, that is not, I was genuinely trying to say my sister's a superhero.
This is the worst. Here's the worst.
On Facebook, you don't get away with nothing.
My beautiful mother-in-law, she's passed on now, but for years, and she was this older lady, sweet, tiny, just loved everybody, just the nicest person. For years, she thought LOL meant lots of love.
Yes, a lot of people thought that. Yep.
On Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, it's cancer.
LOL.
Yeah. She's like,
you'll be fine. But you know what? That would be appropriate for us because we do laugh at inappropriate things.
Yes. Or you, me.
So we would have seen it as laughing loud and we'd have been like,
yeah, exactly. LOL. She's like, it's not Hodgkin's. LOL.
You'll be fine.
She's like, when we told her that, because she'd been doing it for years, she's like, I was wondering why nobody would ever answer, say anything sweet back or anything else like that. And she was just the most lovable person. And when we
technology ain't friendly.
She's like on Facebook, she's like, I'm so sorry, like to everybody.
Yes. How do you go back and fix that?
Over the last 5 years, she's like, I didn't know.
Yeah, you can't fix a mistake on Facebook.
Exactly. And they all died in the crash. LOL.
My mom,
just brush
you
that
know how
off.
You have a text thread with somebody, and then you might have a group text thread with somebody, with somebody's. My mom, for the longest time, and she still does it if she doesn't pay attention. Like I would text her, just me and her about something, and then like the church group text, if there was 4 or 5 ladies and she was involved, she was in the group text.
Right.
And inevitably she would start texting me about like private family stuff in the group thread.
In the group text.
And I would have to respond, Mom, you're in the group thread. You need to go over to our thread. Every time I have to be like, Mom,
Mom, we're pissing off the entire congregation. Mom.
Mom, you're
Mom.
not on your own thread.
All right, Joe, we are at the 45-minute mark, which is where I kind of keep it now because of the Mosaic TV thing.
Sure.
So you have the floor. I want you to tell everybody about you, where they can find you. Do you have a Patreon for your church?
No.
Get one. Get one, Joe. Get one. Who don't like free
I'll look
money?
into it. I'll look into it. You know
all
what?
My donors. Thank you.
We just opened a Venmo.
Holiday at Patreon.com. So, Joe, you have the floor. Tell everybody about you, where they can find you.
You can find me at Living Grace Church here in Versailles. We are on Mosaic Sunday mornings live. We are also on Facebook Live. We're on Facebook Living by Grace 40383. We are grace-based, which just means we don't believe you get punished anymore. Jesus took that on the cross, and you are covered by love. We believe that you don't have to walk around.
Thanks, by the way. I appreciate that.
We believe that you don't have to do anything.
I've done some messed up things, man.
And you know what? He doesn't care, and neither do we. We don't care if you know what? We've had people come to church drunk, and we don't care. Because the good Lord doesn't care, right?
The Lord doesn't care. That's right.
Yeah,
exactly.
We're accepting, we're welcoming. We just believe that Scripture's really clear that all we're called to do.
Where he said you should hate them for.
Yeah, there's no Scripture that says anything.
Tell me where that is in the book, because
there's nothing that's exclusive.
I missed that in the message.
Language that's not in the Scriptures.
There you go.
So yeah, we do away with, we don't do fasting, we don't do tithing, we don't do, I mean, those things aren't terrible, but they're not scripturally led in the new covenant. So we're like, whatever. If you feel like you should do it, but it's not part of what we do. We believe that you're free to be you. You are free to be whatever it is God has called you to do. And we believe the closer you get to God, the more you're going to look like him. It's not behavior modification. It's just a relationship with Jesus. I mean, if you're with Jesus all the time, you're going to start looking like Jesus. Easy. I don't have to tell you to stop doing anything. You're just naturally going to stop doing those things if they're bad in the first place. Who am I to judge? I don't know. And so it just gives people freedom to be who they are and to be loved right where they are.
You should really judge them over it.
Yeah, we're not going to do it. You know what? It's too hard. It's too hard for me to be responsible for everybody else's life and to tell everybody else what's wrong and to tell everybody else how to fix it. And it's too hard.
This is a Stephen Wright joke.
You know, it's stupid. I'm not doing that.
This is a Stephen Wright joke. Only you can prevent forest fires.
Yep. Probably.
Me?
Can I do it?
That's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
I'm 10. So, anyway. All right.
What am I
doing? You can find, hang out for a minute after we're done here. And as always, you can find My Worst Holiday at myworstholiday.com. You can find it on every freaking platform there is. And My Worst Holiday podcast on YouTube. It's on there right now. And Mosaic TV, if you have a Fire Stick. If you have, I guess Android too now. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, I think so.
If you have Amazon TV, Amazon Fire Stick, the Roku, just look it up on Mosaic TV. Do it. Just do it. And with that being said, from a room next to my bathroom in my basement, this has been My Worst Holiday.
Bye, y'all.
Good night, everybody.